Uh-oh. What happened? Oh my gosh, we're live. We're live. I don't know what the hell happened.
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I am honored to have fierce females, BigFemvader, the next tank girl, Ayesha Raymond, and we are reviewing 1995 adaptation of the comic book Tank Girl. Ayesha, what's going on?
This really hurts. I literally just wore it for like comical purposes, but it has to come off now. Hello, podcast world. Ow.
How?
No more. How did she do that?
Well,
I have no idea.
so did you just have that kind of there? What was the deal with
I'm
that?
prepared for the apocalypse. That's exactly what's happening. Like
Uh,
everyone needs to be prepared. You know, you need to have your toilet paper, pasta, all your rice. You know, your freezable like stuff. And your goggles. Just get ready.
Too soon. Too
Get
fucking
ready.
soon, man. Too fucking soon.
Get ready.
We just got out of that 2020 gimmick, and then the fact that, like aliens supposedly are about to fucking swoop down and everything like that. Flobo Boys of a lot of fucking shit that Flobo Voice does, as well as being a former AfterBuzz personality. He says, "Respect the attempt of the fucking tank girl fucking goggles."
I tried. I really did try. No. I like it. Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. So it's funny. So 1995, Tank Girl, and I remember seeing this as a Utes, as Josh LeDuc says, a Utes, the Utes of America, right? But it's so funny, to kind of be an adult and watch this film all over again, because I think this is a really good like introspective timestamp on where we were as a culture, right? 1995 was like Lilith Fair, like the female, um, uh, not Woodstock, but like Lollapalooza almost, right? With like Paula Cole and a lot of female or Tori Amos. Those are big things. We had Tragic Kingdom of No Doubt, which I mean, I almost feel like Gwen Stefani's early era attire for No Doubt was ripped straight from Tank Girl.
No, I mean you can say, but then Gwen Stefani's early era of No Doubt, I would say, was kind of reflective of the early punk era, which is exactly what Tank Girl was. Um, just as a Brit, for me, I've been into art and comic books and illustration and animation for a very long time. One of my favorite bands alone, just because of their animation, was the Gorillaz. Thank you, Blur. But the artists for Tank Girl and the Tank Girl comics, Jamie Hewitt and Alan Martin, completely skyrocketed this for everyone. I mean, when it debuted on Deadline in 1988, that's what took it off. It was a female heroine with a massive tank who did and said and thought whatever she wanted, and it was the complete conformist of that kind of punk era, which started in the 70s, converged over to the 80s, merged into the 90s, and people still do it now. But it was that non-conformist, I don't give a what you think, and for me, it was the person that I wanted to embody in most. That's why I'm like, I'm the new Tank Girl. Hi, like, like, what's her name? Oh, I feel bad.
Lori Petty.
No, the woman who's now rumored to be doing the reboot.
Wait,
She was in Wolf of Wall Street.
oh,
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
The,
I'm sorry, Margot Robbie. Oh, hi. Hi. You know how you like changing all those roles to nice, like, chocolatey people? Hi. Ariel wasn't the only one. Hi.
I'm just saying, right?
Just saying.
That was oh so subtle. My goodness.
And I'm English.
This is true. This is true. Which I mean, it's like in many ways like that like warms my heart but also breaks my heart, right? Because it to me I think this is almost like they live. This is actually being what, wait, see, 95, 2005, 2015. This shit is 30 fucking years old, man. Like almost, I mean, 28 thereabouts, whatever. But this is damn near a 30-year-old movie, and it aged pretty well. Aside from like the weird prosthetics of the dog wolf people, which I was like, I saw E.T. Ice T in the credits, and I was like, what the fuck, right?
Really?
Not realizing he was one of the dogs.
No, he he was a ripper. He wasn't a dog. How dare they?
Okay, right
He
on.
was a ripper,
Which is
and he
different
was one of the
than
best.
Tim
Apart from
the
Boga.
Ripper Owens from that replaced Rob Halford of Judas Priest, or a Ripper as somebody that works on the timber mills, like that Ripper, or
No, it was
Jack the
weird.
Ripper.
No, in
Rip-
this character, even seeing
okay.
Ice-T as that character, watching it now, you saw kind of flashes to his character in Law and Order. I
Yes,
really did. I know it's the stereotypical character that they say he plays all the time, but I literally saw the cop in Law and Order every time he spoke. Now, after seeing it as a child on Sci-Fi Channel, yeah, I watched it on Sci-Fi Channel.
as well you should. As well you should. Now, you know, you are a purveyor of Josie and the Pussycats, the comic book, right? So, did you have the Tank Girl comics before the movie?
Of course, I had the technical comments before the movie. In for my educational life, before I decided to slam people into submission, I was studying performing arts and media and animation. And one of my favorite artists was Jamie Hewitt. And like you commend him for artists and animation like the Gorillas, who were amazing when they were at the time. Let's forget the CGI concert, shall we? Um, but the animation alone was iconic at the time, and everyone can remember that kind of raw, almost gothic, almost kind of punk rock aspects to his comics. And it was amazing to see and to watch. Like, I had them. I wish I had them now, because not unfortunately, I live in Scotland. Most of my stuff are still in England, but like watching and reading and seeing his art and his animation and his content, like growing up, was to me some of the influential things, like, to what I do and
That's
how I
amazing.
do art.
No, that's amazing. Man, you said raw, and I almost got. I shuddered a little bit because, like, oh God, what they're doing to Piper. Oh fuck, or Viper, really. Anyway, speaking of like punk rock, I don't know what the fuck. But anywho, before I get on a tangent, but yeah, but so about the like the movie aspect of it, and like, so did you? As somebody that read the comics, right, and at a time in '95 where comic adaptations to movies weren't really. I mean, I guess there was Spawn, right? Spawn was like a shoestring budget, and it made like a litany of fucking money. I think like in terms of the gross revenue versus what they spent, it was like 1,000 times a return. Like I think they spent 2 million, and it made like 80 to 100 million the first run, and VHS and everything like that. So I guess there was, but like the how we know it now for the Marvel and the DC whatever, there really wasn't a precedent then. So um, when did you hear that the movie was being made about the comics, and were you excited?
It was weird. I never heard that the movie was being made. I just remember seeing half of the film on Sci-Fi Channel at probably like 11 o'clock at night. Yes, my mum was that cool. She let me stay up past 11. And I remember the Rippers dance scene, and I had to literally look through like the TV guide at the time. I was like, when is this film going to be on again? Like, I really didn't know. I had no idea that there was going to be a film. And then now that I've reviewed even more about the film, because you've made me, thank you, even more, and I realized why there wasn't such more of an advertisement at the time, because in there was a lot of people who negatively thought towards the film, in my opinion, because they didn't get it. Like, if, like Laurie Petty said, like, if you're a lover of the comics, you're a lover of everything, you will love this film. If you're a lover of that kind of art and style, you'll love this film. Most of the negativity towards this film came from people who wanted to watch a movie but didn't actually get the comics, the general what it was about and the style. They just watching a film, so it was dubbed like Rotten Tomatoes minus whatever, and it was just like it slipped between the ether. But then if you watch it as somebody who is a fan of the comics and the era, you do appreciate it. Like I generally, like I was watching negative reviews towards this film and I was getting angry. I'm like, but I don't understand. Like if you generally understood the concept of the entire comics and what the character was about, you wouldn't hate this film.
No,
You
hundred
really
percent.
wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, again, so there are comic movies or adaptations that basically you don't need the comic. You didn't need to, have a refresher of the comic before watching the movie. You could just sit in the fucking movie and watch that cinematic, universe play out, and there it is. It is what it is, right? But Tank Girl, you can almost have to have an affinity. Like people that are going to watch this movie are people that are votaries of this the comic book kind of surge.
Yeah, I mean, like you say that, but then you say that's somebody who's true to a movie. You've come to watch the movie as it is in the name, Spider-Man. You know the concept of Spider-Man. You know the story of Spider-Man. You're going to watch the story of Spider-Man. But most people who are Spider-Man buffs and were like avid hit like comic book nerds of the Spider-Man universe hated the films
Oh
because
yeah.
it wasn't as true to what Spider-Man was, and that's what it was with this movie. It was even little things like they didn't have enough budget to do a lot of the cinematic and the CGI aspects, especially to do with like tanks and the ammunition and the weapons that were made. So they used comic books, and people had problems with that. And it's just like, but it was a comic book.
Yeah. At
You
first, no.
strobe. Sorry, I'm a wrestler. You strobe.
I've never heard that. Strobe.
Really? I'm gonna
No.
write it in a book.
No. What is the definition of strobe?
From what I was always told, simpleton, divvy, idiot,
I like
fool,
so. I like
basically.
the small town simpleton. That's what we use here, in few circles. Not like the Inglewood circles. There's a whole different level of this, but like I'm gonna start using strobe. Hell yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
I'll bring it over. Don't patent it yet. I'm gonna copyright it and put it on a T-shirt.
Okay,
We'll make millions.
yes,
Millions.
millions of dollars, millions of dollars. I'm fictionally like I don't know if I'm Darren Young or Titus O'Neil, but yeah, millions of dollars. Spider-Man is a teen. Ha
I don't know how
ha.
to
I don't
yeah,
know.
you,
You know
the
what's
humor's
funny?
not turned that way.
Yes. There you go. There you go.
There you
It looks
go.
like a diamond. Like I look like I'm like one of the weird like extras in a Katy Perry video or whatever, which is no here nor there, but whatever the hell.
Okay.
No, you know what's funny? I don't think I've actually like I'm technically in Spider-Man the first one.
Hmm.
I haven't watched it yet.
How can you be in the film and you haven't put that all over your Twitter, put hashtags all over it, made it a
It's,
GIF, made it sparkle, done all that other shit
I don't
that
think you
everybody
can
else
actually.
does?
So I was an extra when I was in high school, and it was the scene of Bonesaw McGraw and Toby Maguire. And what was funny, and I might have told this story before on the podcast, but so I went to Inglewood High School. I was in Inglewood ROTC in Inglewood, California, and anytime Inglewood, Culver City, the surrounding cities needed like cheap security, we would get the call, right? So, and it was a cool PR piece that Sony Pictures cuts a check to Inglewood High School. It's all warm and fuzzies all over or whatever. Well, Wow Women of Wrestling, right? The first incarnation after Glow, basically shot all of their freaking pay-per-views at the Forum in Inglewood, right? So that's going on or whatever. I attended all but one fucking taping because I was sick one day, but like pretty much that whole run of tapings, including the pay-per-view with Bobby Heenan and everything like that, I was there for. But in the Spider-Man movie, right, the three of the girls that are talking shit to Tobey Maguire or Spider-Man are, I believe, Jungle Girl, Terry Gold and the disciplinarian from the original WoW, right?
Oh
So
no, I didn't know that.
not only were we like extras and whatever, and you can kind of see green specks, around the fucking arena when they do the wide shot. I and like 300 of my ROTC brothers and sisters were in that film, but when we broke, because we knew the girls from WoW, they were like, "Hey, you want to meet Toby Maguire?" Brought over Toby. Cool as shit. Want to meet Bruce Campbell? There's a couple Bravo Hotep fans, in our kind of, contingent. That was cool. You want to meet Randy Savage? I fucking and
You were like,
I,
yes,
I lost on the way home. I lost the fucking
yes.
disposable. I lost the disposable, but there was a picture of me and Randy Savage in Bonesaw fucking gear, which I
How
don't
did
have
you? How
because
did you
I
lose it?
drunken stupor
How?
maybe.
Disappointment. This is
No,
why you always have a fanny pack. You put it in the fanny pack, you zip it up, you do your drunkenness, you fall over on it, it's fine. D- uh, Disappointment.
I know. I'm a wretch. I'm a wretched youth. I'm a
You are.
reckless youth.
You are.
Um, but yeah, man. You know what was funny, right? So early on, right? Because the movie is set in 2033, which is not. That's literally like 11 years from now.
2 years. No, no, isn't it 2023? I thought it was 2023. Is it
I'm
2033?
bad with numbers, so maybe it's 2023. I'm gonna take your word
Right.
for it, right?
No,
But
we can check.
yeah, but there is a there's a part where Tank Girl basically gets taken as a slave, right? And she's working and she gets dirt thrown on her, and there is a I don't think I'll ever forget. It was like, "Oh, you're going to stop me from watching Baywatch." Which is such a 1995 reference, right? But in the future, like these motherfuckers, either they were trying to virtue signal to like and pop the crowd in the audience that would be watching it in real time, right? The year that or the 6 months that it had its run, but like it was such a dated reference that I think that's the only that and again the fucking prosthetics or the dog people. Those are
Rippers,
the Rippers. Okay, Rippers. Rippers. Jesse and the Rippers? Jesse and the Rippers, right?
cancel him. Okay,
Oh.
just, just throw up the X.
I'm gonna do
Throw it.
this.
No, throw it up. No,
I
I'm trying to
went
send
from
myself.
one Darren Young, Fred Rosser fucking
Yay.
reference to another. So I'm gonna block out the hate. How about that? There you go.
Can't block out hate. Hate
Yeah.
builds love. You can't have hate without love. You can't have love
Ex-
without hate.
Mario Yamasaki's. But what was your favorite like moment or like what struck you seeing this all these years later that maybe might have not resonated with you the first time you saw it on Sci-Fi?
There were many things. The first thing was so we will say that this movie is set in. You can say 2033. I'd say 2023, and we can watch it all over again and see who's wrong.
Okay.
But how overly sexualized, completely outspoken, where there are no filters between man, mammal, amphibian, reptile, and everything else that's crossed between this film. Uh, we're in 2021, and y'all so censored.
Yeah. I mean, there's yeah.
So does that mean that this film is predicting the future and we get so sensitive that something bad happens and kaboom, everybody just goes every bad word under the sun and everything is like Tank Girl? Is that what's going to happen? Because it's now prompted my brain into thinking we're literally going to destroy ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Yes. Can I? I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. I mean, I almost see it every day. Like between the last, again, how people's belief systems and whatever it went to literally went to shit. Literally went to shit over the last year. And I mean, of course, like tough times and to make tough people sometimes. Sometimes that's cool to put on a inspirational Instagram quote while you're fucking taking an ass selfie. whatever. But then
Just say
you saw what people were really about once like all of the fucking followers, their fucking profiles got blocked or hacked or whatever the fuck. You saw some truth in the motherfuckers.
I mean, she was making oil change jokes in 2033/23, and it was funny.
Oh, what about the so the raw like female power, right? And this is kind of a prevailing theme over the last two films that we watched, right? Josie and the Pussycats, Spice World, respectively. And there's a very like pro women, pro. I mean, it's not even like I guess it would be feminist, right? But like it was just like fucking girl fucking power. That's all this was, right? Because there were instances where you know there was some misogynistic fucking shit that she
The
had to be,
lieutenant guy, the
but she fucking clapped back at his ass, right? Because like he wanted her to do fellatio in front of the boys, and she was just like, oh, like she completely deflected it. It was like, oh, I need some tweezers and a magnifying glass, and I was like,
I know, but what about Jets? I mean, even for Jet's big comeuppance in the end, when she has her massive like upcome, he's there, they're there. He's pointing the gun. She's pointing the gun at him, and they're both there. And she literally says, "He says, fuck you, f me," and she
yeah,
finally says, "I told you already. I don't want to." Boom.
yeah, just all bits of badassery. That's pretty much it. And I mean, so there's a couple of different things, right? Obviously, there's Lori Petty. We have a young Naomi Watts, who I
Very
don't think I'd ever seen her in a movie where she's spoken in her true Australian Aussie accent. This is a little bit closer because when we saw her years later in The Ring, right, another adaptation of the Japanese Ringu, right, she was all like Americanized or whatever the fuck. Like there was absolutely no detection of her accent, but it was coming full force in the words of jumping Jap Farmer, not Jack Farmer, Jeff Farmer. All right, get to backstab me one way or another. Um, um, yeah. Do you remember that promo?
Yes, I do.
Okay, right on.
That's why the smile.
Yes, but yeah, I mean, it's so funny because Naomi Watts is here, Ice T, pre Law and Order SVU are here. Lori Petty, who would, I mean, she in terms of her role selection, she's pretty versatile in what she could do because like, I can't
Point
remember,
Break.
huh?
You forgot Point Break. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Laurie
Yeah,
Pay. You're
no,
still
no,
talking about Naomi
Point
Watts.
Break. But then she also did like some sitcom. Like she wasn't like the star of the sitcom, but like I remember seeing her on like Grace Under Fire. After this, she might have been on Married with Children or Unhappily Ever After, like those type of things, like very quirky roles. And most recently, she was, pretty much like an ensemble fucking cast that just knocks the blocks off of anything. Orange is the New Black, right? We saw
Mhm.
her as just this kind of quirky fucking person, right? Which is if you see Lori Petty on the marquee, you kind of fucking know what you're getting, which is awesome. She's had this amazing 30+ year prolific career with like quirky roles and just like almost bucking the. She's Tank Girl, right? She kind of fucking bucked the Hollywood system, and it's just like I'm an artist.
I mean, it's said. I watched an interview with Malcolm and herself, and it was said that she walked into her actual audition with a safety pin in her hair. She had braids on the side. Her hair was slicked to the side. She was like, "I am Tank Girl," and it's weird. Like everybody said that the argument is that there shouldn't be a reboot because the movie was so bad. I argue that there shouldn't be a reboot because there isn't anybody else that can actually embody that character. There is no one else. Even the comics were written, illustrated, and drawn before Laurie Petty was even in the picture. But if you look at a picture side by side, there is no one else that could have been Tank Girl apart from her. And there shouldn't be anyone else after that.
No, I agree. No disrespect to him, and rest in peace. But Chadwick Boseman, right? The fact that Margaret Robbie is kind of attached to this reboot, I kind of felt like how I did with Chadwick Boseman, right? How the fuck can you be Jackie Robinson, also James Brown? I think there might have been another one, right? And then Black Panther. They just visually they don't look alike, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Robbie, whether it be Wolf of Wall Street, the what is it, playing Harley Quinn, right? She's just this like wild, wacky, quirky, eccentric, whatever. But like, does that mean that she gets
No.
all of the quirky, fucking eccentric roles?
No, because I genuinely believe that that character was made and embodied for Laurie Petty. That's who she is. She even gave that character. Remember, it was a comic book. She gave that character a voice. Now you hear no other voice but hers. So it's just like I don't see anybody else. I'm not saying that she wouldn't be able to embody what Laurie Petty embodied, but she wouldn't be Tank Girl. She'd be emulating off what Laurie Petty emulated to create the character of Tank Girl, in my opinion.
No, 100%. You're 100%. Sometimes less is more. And sometimes you gotta leave sleeping dogs, which I don't have. They're literally fucking tearing each other apart over here. It's like fucking the pugamania over here. But
Don't make me jealous.
sorry, yeah, they're fucking Pugsley and Darla. Oh god. But in any event, right? You said that in parts they didn't have the fucking budget, right, for to do some things, right? Do you know what the stats on how much this movie cost to make?
Was it 25,000?
25 fucking million.
Yeah. 25 million. I thought it was 25,000.
$25 million. You know what the return on investment was?
18.
6.
But that's why but again, that's why I say everybody was expecting this massive movie. If everyone that watched it was actually a fan of the comics, I don't think it would have gone that way. And you have to what was the movie actually rated when it came out? Wasn't it 15?
Well, okay. I'm gonna give you the stats. So, in terms of the value of 15, or I'm sorry, 25 million, right? The price of the dollar.
You're
So
not gonna do this.
1.7. Oh man, it's giving me percentage. I thought it was gonna fucking give me the actual fucking deal. I'm not
Nah.
good at math, so I'm not even gonna try. Um, it sounds so defeatist, but wait, let me punch in some digits here. But it's a lot of fucking money. It is. Oh fuck, they fucked it up. Anyway, but it's a fuck ton of money, which also gave the presentation that this wasn't worth like the cinematic dollar. I think that's one of the many reasons why maybe Rotten Tomatoes gave it so poor a rating, or the non Ten Girls fans at large basically gave this shit unfavorable ratings.
I mean, yeah, I mean, because it was targeted towards a movie audience. It was just, here's a Tank Girl movie. Watch this. It wasn't at the time actually targeted towards people who were generally fans of the film, and like fans of the film, fans of the comic. Then I was a fan of the comic, and I generally had no idea. I mean, maybe that's just me, and I have my issues here and there. I had no idea that the movie was coming out, and also at the time I was like, let's not name my age. I was very young.
You know what? I also forgot because I was like, what the fuck did Lori Petty do before this? and some of my favorite movies, right? We're talking about Free Willy, Poetic Justice, A League of Their Own. I forgot she was Kit, fucking Gina Davis's, almost Owen to Gina Davis's Bret Hart in in A League of Their Own, right? She actually did a year before, or at least it was released a year before. She actually did In the Army Now with Pauly Shore, right? So, In the Army Now, League of Their Own, Free Willy. As a fucking kid, that just shows you how fucking strange of a childhood I had, and what my tastes are. Pretty eclectic, but those are like, she she stars in four of my favorite movies of this particular period of my life.
I mean, I'm weird. I've never seen Free Willy all the way through because it's one of those films that, when it was raining outside and they didn't want you to go outside, so they let you have made you stay inside, and they brought the TV in and they made you watch a film. In my school, it was either The Snowman or Free Willy or E.T. So it's one of those movies that I generally cannot watch without having severe PTSD. Um, so for me, I fell in love with Laurie Petty over Point Break because my mum had it on VHS, and it was just one of those films that, that bank robbery scene to me is like that. That is how you do a bank robbery. That right there is how you rob a bank. I'm sorry, Reservoir Dogs. That's how you do it.
Didn't Set It Off do well? No,
Do you not remember the last scene?
no.
Like, oh, Queen Latifah got sprayed with so many bullets, so
Really?
many. They lit her up so bad. Um, I remember that film gave me nightmares for a while. It really did. Um, but like, I saw Laurie Petty in Point Break, and I just fell in love with her character. She to me was that, it was weird. She was that stereotypical, please don't cancel me, I love you all. That white black girl that you want to be friends with. Like, you want her on your team because she knows exactly what your mindset is. She knows how to, she isn't going to embarrass you. She's going to be that girl who's going to be there, and she's going to be fine. She'll be cool. She'll be my friend. And I just loved her. Like, her entire persona, her I don't give a attitude to me was how every woman should act. And it's really weird. Like, even now with Fierce Females, one of the management team members, one of the co-owners, Nevada Rose, she embodies the riot girl kind of aspects in the culture. And to me, that's what Tank Girl was. She was that, I don't care what you think, this is me. And I just loved her from that moment. It's just,
Now, what was the response like around the schoolyard when this thing came out? Was it because I know like there were certain like the Rocketeer. I remember that being a big one when I was like
the
in
Rocketeer.
elementary. Yes, and I was like,
Wow.
we all fucking talked about
Dude.
it. We also talked about what the subsequent fucking video game for Sega Genesis was the absolute
Oh,
shits.
no.
It was the
Don't
absolute
expose
shits.
yourself even more.
It was. I thought it was gonna be so fucking cool. It was the shits,
I
right?
still have mine. Well, my brother's.
Do you really?
Yeah, it works.
Wow.
I'm just afraid to plug it. It works. I know it works, but I'm afraid to now plug it in because I think it's going to blow up.
Could be. Is it the
Yeah.
original? Like the one that you had as a youth?
That he had. Yeah. And our
Wow.
Mega Drive.
I say you plug it in. Well,
No.
I would
I'm
say
so
that, and I was like,
scared.
wait, your fucking penchant for blowing shit up over quarantine.
Uh,
Just saying.
yeah, I know. They might blame me in the end, and it'll be all your fault.
Yeah. So maybe you remember when I said plugged it in.
Yeah.
Maybe don't do that.
Remember, this is recorded. There's
Yeah.
proof.
100%.
Please
100%.
remember,
Don't
authorities.
don't
I
let
didn't
this
have
be the
intent.
catalyst of like your equivalent
It's
to don't look
entrapment.
down. Like I'm gonna tell you don't look down, and you look down, and you're gonna freak the fuck out. I say plug it in, you plug it in, all the shit goes to bits and whatever. And again, the fucking what is it? The what's the disclaimer? The fucking
Don't try this at
mentality and
home.
everything
Oh,
isn't of that of according to Woods and all that shit. So
just
I
your
don't know. I
character
need a
that you
lawyer.
see on TV.
I need a lawyer. Yeah, fucking
Yeah, you
need a
do.
lawyer.
I think you do.
Draw some shit out. No, man. So what? Okay. Do you have a favorite character that isn't Lori Petty?
Booger! Oh my gosh, that he is the amazing. Like to me, he's the ultimate. Like if I could marry Booger, I would. He is so. I feel bad that he was a dog in real life because now I can see it. He's probably like a golden retriever, probably, but he's the most sweetest, kindest. Oh, and the leader because no, everybody likes a jazz man, but. My favorite characters are the Rippers, undeniably, because there are so many different characters. They're like a frat group. It's weird.
Would you take them to a public outing to dance?
Yes, I have tried to learn that Ripper dance for the past. When did the film come out? God knows how long.
Those
that.
those motherfuckers. I can't dance. I have like no rhythm nor soul. Um, those motherfuckers, and I don't know if it's the prosthetics or whatever. They made me look like James Brown. Like
And
I
three
swear
of
to
them are
God,
white.
the
Three of
most
them.
soulful motherfucker ever.
Three of them are white.
Yes,
Please remember that. You guys
because
do have rhythm. I believe in
yeah,
you.
it was weird. You know. So yeah, I mean, okay. In terms of like the long-standing, like impact of Tank Girl, whether that be let's do the comic verse, and then we'll go for the movie. Like,
Mhm.
what do you think is like if you were trying to introduce somebody to this concept, this character? What is your pitch? How would you sell this?
It's the alternative post-apocalyptic version of Mad Max with a woman. Replace her car with his car with a tank, and replace all the savages with kangaroos. That's Tango. Rippers. I hate you. Just because of you, I said kangaroos. Rippers.
Yeah, I was like, I thought they were dogs.
No, they're actually no. Only Booger was a dog. Booger was
Okay,
a kangaroo crossed with a dog. Everybody else was people crossed with
okay.
kangaroos.
Here's the crazy thing though, right? Because the whole deal was everybody trying to get water, right? So in my mind, water comes from a reservoir. And if the
Mm-hmm.
Rippers were dogs, they're the reservoir
With
dogs.
wild dogs. Very good.
Just saying.
But the kangaroos.
I was waiting like all morning to fucking pop that one off. So just saying. Prayers 100%. Woods, I truly appreciate your show and talent.
I was
You're
waiting
too
on wanting to
kind.
do this.
Too kind. Talent. Wha- Talents. I almost have none. I fall upwards, folks. No, and the concept, right, of like the water being so scarce, and we're not too far off, right? Because like I just saw something on YouTube where there was like this. I guess it was a robot that ate fucking trash from like rivers and whatever because like the scarcity of water was so desolate that they need this robotic fucking fish thing that gobbled up all the fucking trash out the water to make purified drinking water, which is also fun because again, a year earlier from this, Lori Petty was in the army now, where there are, hint hint, water purifiers for the fucking United States
True.
military.
True. Well, maybe she just likes being in post-apocalyptic situations. She knows how to survive. Everyone goes to Laurie Petty.
But then you got the fucking League of Their Own, where she's Kit again. She's Owen Hart essentially. Like they
Yeah.
wrote that movie, right? At least in my mind, right? They wrote that movie like as a female Brett and Owen. Yeah, 92 because the Brett and Owen feud kind of like 93, 94. So it was so close to have like the sniveling, little sibling, right? Essentially, um, under the shadow of their older sibling, like their little bit more heralded sibling or what have you. So I want to say either the League of Their Own borrowed from the Brett and Owen feud, or the Brett and Owen feud basically learned from the League of Our Own. But in any event, man, like that, I think that's the only one where Lori Petty doesn't, you know, doesn't play an apocalyptic or prison fucking
Oh yeah,
person.
Bad Girls. Bad Girls. Everyone watched Bad Girls. Did you? Or did you get it in America?
What,
Bad Girls.
Bad Girls Club?
No, it was a TV series. I'm sure I can't remember, or I might be wrong. So let's pause and go back to something else. But I'm sure Laurie Petty was in Bad Girls.
Let's see. I'm looking at her. It was a TV show, right?
Yeah, British TV show. I might be
Uh,
wrong. If I'm
we
wrong, I apologize completely.
let's see. She was, let's see, Robot Chicken, Danger X,
Yes.
Hawaii Five O, Gotham, Orange Is the New Black, The Cleaner, Prison Break.
No, that's what I'm doing. I'm mixing up my women prison TV shows. It was Orange is the New Black. That's what I'm remembering.
Ah, yes.
Ah,
No,
sorry.
no. And
I'm
she's
sorry. You guys did it better than we did. Bad Girls was Orange is the New Black was better.
and until I've read the Wikipedia, I forgot that she was on Star Trek Voyager. So she's also like a member of like the Trekkie nation, I guess, right? Like, and then there was a short-lived a Fox TV show here in the States called Alien Nation, which I remember she was in one of the episodes for that. That was like right around like, I guess the precursor to X Files, like when Fox was kind of dabbling, getting away from that comical In Living Color and Married with Children, and kind of getting a little bit more serious with the fucking America's Most Wanted and all that shit. Like it was of this area where they were like, oh, we're gonna do sci-fi, and she was in that like back in '89, I believe.
I do have a question for you, though, as you had
Sure.
many for me. So you asked me this question. I'm going to hit you with this question. You can ask me
Okay.
afterwards. What parts of this film do you generally think don't age well? Not in the sense of, oh my gosh, yes, it doesn't, but generally it doesn't age well. If you didn't think in the context of the comic and the situation and the culture, what do you think, if you could take it out of the film, what would you just remove?
All of the misogyny, all of the fucking misogyny. It
That's
was,
it.
yeah. No, here's the funny thing about it, right? And it's not funny at all, because most people are like, oh, you know, the this generation, bunch of softies, bunch of snowflakes, whatever the fuck, right? But there's reasons why you don't say things, right? Like the N word. I still call like the things that go with soup biscuits. Not only because my mom is from the British Commonwealth, but also towards Anglo.
Really, you can't
The
say cracker. It's just the
I
cream.
cannot, and I've
Jacob's
taught my
cream
kids
crackers. It's
to
not
say
a bad word.
biscuits.
It's a thing. It's a
Yeah,
thing in a packet here where I'm from. I'm
yes,
sorry.
yeah, yeah, might be a C, and I can't bring
Really?
myself to, right? Yeah, I just can't.
Wow.
Right? So with that being said, like you, of course, there's artistic, reference and liberties that you can take and what have you that speaks to the dialogue, but it also speaks to the time. The amount of stuff that she had to kind of go through, like she had kind of the snarkiness, or even more so, of like a Spider-Man, Iron Man, Deadpool, right? That the mass of people, whether they love the comic book or not, they just kind of came to grow with these characters. You put them in the same situation. Let's say if Gwyneth Paltrow's fucking character was harassing Iron Man like that, or that, like, it's just, to me it was just like it was so indicative of that time frame that like I'm also glad that we're not there anymore. Where like women aren't just objects or anybody is just an object. So that was the thing that was like the most stark to me. That really
Really?
like I actually fucking turned away.
You see,
But I do that like black exploitation. Like there isn't a that was something that I like my dad was very aware of our roots and culture and everything like that, and he was something he kind of taught us like black exploitation films like Jackie, not Jackie Brown, but like Pam Grier stuff and Dolomite and everything like that. That was the moment we got respect, right? That's we saved the studios in terms of like culture and everything. Shoestring budgets, but these are gone are the days of the Barbra Streisand, Bing Crosby singing in the rain, fucking big musicals, and they had to shift. And black exploitation is exactly what prompted the shift, as well as the edginess that would later become known in things like The Godfather and Scarface a little bit later on, right? So, but I won't watch it just because the dialogue and just the situations, they aren't kind. Like, not at
wow.
all. Hell, go back. I want to say there's a Greg Kinnear film. Oh, I think it might be As Good as It Gets, right? Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt and Greg Kinnear, and they treated Greg Kinnear like shit just because he was gay.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, like those, I just it's weird. It's just weird.
It's weird that you say that because out of all, like, I think the misogynistic stuff had to happen for her character to kind of grow, in a sense, seem stronger at the end, because at the end of it, the Almighty was a man, die, whack your penis off, blah, blah, blah. For me, if I could erase anything apart from the dance scene, because the Let's Do It is the most classicest Gershwin song you could ever hear, I would have taken away the brothel scene because it was really weird to see a futuristic, almost kind of evolved human race, 2023, 2033 of what you say. And not only is there a brothel, there's a brothel that is populated by children. And not only that, a little girl who is probably around the age of what was she like? What was Sam like? 10, 11? She was fully aware of what a pervert was.
Yeah.
That bothered me a lot. And I was like, when I was 10, regardless of how innocent you may seem, I didn't know what a pervert was. She knew what a pervert was, and she knew that he needed being punished as well. And to me, I was just like, this is supposed to be a society set in the future. By then, we should have quote unquote learnt. Did you learn?
I don't believe
How
any.
bad does that make you feel?
I man, speaking of shit that was learned, like I learned so much shit over the last year. Like I don't think restored faith in people is one of them. I don't. I mean, like no. Actually, I mean, it it's kind of weird because like being kind of sequestered in the house and everything like that, and fearful of anybody outside of your bubble, right? But then connecting with people like you and so many people, almost over 400 people via the podcast. Like that's been cool. But like, hanging out at a bar, like these are things that are just like I don't I don't know if I can do, right? So like I'm totally aware of like people's kind of weird idiosyncrasies and shit and why they would do that to like a 10-year-old then or whatever because they did it. Like my wife's grandma was married at 14, pregnant by 12.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Ayesha. My namesake was had Muhammad's children by 9. No, she was married to Muhammad at 9.
Again, doesn't fucking age well, man. Like, dude, Priscilla Presley, right? Elvis, she was like 14.
I
And
know.
then
I told someone that the other day. They're like, "No, she wasn't." I was like, "Do you know? How did you not know?" what we were watching. We were watching Naked Gun, and I was like, "That's Priscilla Presley." Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know, man. People are weird. Society is weird. I'm glad that people are getting a little bit more aware. I don't want to say woke. Woke is it's already done. It's like the Bare Naked Lady song. It's all been done before. It's just like everybody's trying to find something a little whatever to peek behind the curtains, and not to say that shit isn't there or it's not justified, but like the whole woke culture or the cancel culture, like I believe in holding people accountable, right? But like you you can't like go back, right? Because like this, right? Imagine somebody something that IC said as and I don't think IC would give a fuck one way or another, and I don't think that NBC would give a fuck one way or another. But something from this film, him as a Ripper, where you don't even fucking visually see his face, right? And they're like, oh, he said that in '95, so we want him off of fucking Law and Order SVU, which he's been on for over 20 years at this point.
But why?
Exactly. Which is also why they shouldn't. That's almost a case of why they shouldn't remake it. Like, you
Agreed.
can't do this, right?
You can't do the same jokes. You can't the same attitudes, the same. It won't be the same. No, you just.
Right. And without
It's like
this, like,
remaking a scary movie. It will never be done.
right, and without these like static interactions that all of the characters have, especially the characters played by Lori Petty as well as Naomi Watts, right? Like you almost need that. Like even the fact that like Naomi Watts, right? She was almost like a stuttering, you don't know, like you didn't know, and she didn't know herself, right? And then she, because of all of this crap and Lori Petty's character kind of pushing her to kind of break out of her shell, there's this huge transformation that you get at the end of the film, that is a complete departure from what we saw when she first entered the screen.
I mean, not only that. I mean, you get with the Tank Girl character itself, you get the erratic, irresponsible, horrible. I mean, the point where she basically tells a child it's okay to swear. Don't say dickwad. Call him an asshole. I mean, you hear it come out of her mouth to this caring, nurturing, almost heroic character who shows that she actually cares more about other things than herself. Yes, at the beginning she showed it was about her boyfriend's bad stuff happened to her boyfriend, but she did all of that in the end to save Sam. And she even said, I would rather Sam die than be somebody else's slave. She would rather her die than suffer for life. And that is caring about somebody.
No, 1,000%. And in regards to making this over again, a talented actress, singer, producer, Sarah Schroeder Matskin, says, so right, you can't make this over again. Like, it needs to be almost like
Just
Encino Man, right? Frozen in time.
I just think they should make it 4D. Like, just make the film 4D. Like when she shoots cannons, have like air spray out of the TV thing. When water happens, like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Remember Rocky Horror
Okay.
Picture Show?
Yes, I like it. Which okay, I don't know why I popped for this, but I think my favorite movie, and this shows how quirky I am. But like when the tank ran out of bullets, right? And they
It's like,
fucking
what's
used
wrong
beer
with you?
yeah, and even dude, this is like a precursor to Tesla, where the fucking tank is talking back to her, right?
He ran out of
Yes,
bullets.
because okay, so, and it's not to say that we didn't have talking cars before. Kit Knight Rider, right?
True.
That has been done, but like the current day, like
Herbie.
autonomous vehicles, they're more like the Tank and Tank Girl than they are Kit of Knight Rider fame.
I mean, wait, no, I can't remember if Jet spoke as well, but she did soup it up. I can't remember if it spoke. Did it have a brain?
Can't
Can't
remember.
remember. No, I don't think it. No, I don't think it did.
Can't remember.
Irrelevant. Irrelevant.
Because and now I kind of went down a wormhole in my head. Like, what was the first time that I saw like an autonomous car in film or TV show, and I think it was maybe the first Batmobile in like the fucking
Really?
60s TV show of Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward, where like I think they were fighting or whatever, and they called for the fucking Batmobile, and the Batmobile came, swooped them up.
At least you got the best Catwoman, Earth Kit. I'm sorry.
Eartha Kitt?
But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that's much. She is the best Catwoman. I'm sorry, no one could contest that. But my first anatomical car was either Herbie or Knight Rider. I can't remember which one came first. Generally, can't remember
dude,
either
that would
one.
be cool. That would be cool if you got like all of the Batman fucking like the All Stars. You have Heath Ledger's Joker. You've got Eartha Kitt's Catwoman. You got Arnold as fucking Mister Freeze. You got Danny DeVito as
I'm glad you
Penguin.
said that.
Yes, just like fucking what is it? Wasn't it Uma Thurman was
Yeah.
Poison
I
Ivy?
like that film and everyone hates it. I'm just like, but Arnie was in a Batman film. Shut up.
It's what it was, man. Like again, don't take shit seriously, man. Like this is, and again, I can understand if you're like a comic book fan that, you know, you think it's sacrilege to fucking present it in that way, but fuck, man, if it makes money, dude, like
Yeah,
whatever.
but to me, the Wonder Woman film was sacrilege. I'm sorry. She did all of that in the name of a man. That was not Wonder Woman. Burn.
Imagine there's no heaven. I mean, that gal, she's the one who, when people were dying of COVID, like, oh, then there was no heaven.
Don't
Got
get
all
me
the
started on that
celebrities to
film.
do it in black and white, right? That's
No.
yeah, man. Gal Gadot, man.
I'm not contesting the actions. I'm just the storyline in general. I'm just like, she didn't do that. Wonder Woman wasn't, I'm doing this for a dude. The whole movie was, I'm doing this for a dude. Just chop off like every vagina. Thank you.
Dude,
Cheers.
as you know what though, it's so crazy because I mean, in terms of like the Marvel universe, right? That's a Disney owned property and whatever. You see,
Mm.
like, uh, the fucking Amazon just bought MGM, right? So, wait, we're gonna get like
Who were the people who picked up this film when Columbia turned it down?
yes. So, I mean, fuck, man. Like, just like iRobot, right? iRobot was like somebody wanted to make a movie with Will Smith. They also wanted to make a movie with iRobot as the title, and then a movie about robots. So iRobot is actually three different movies all in one. This and that's why it almost doesn't make sense at all because it's like again three different movies, three different contexts, three different ideologies behind why these things were made, and they just squished them together and made iRobot.
Sounds like The Last Samurai. Everyone just watched Glory and went, I wonder what happens if we just change the continent.
Are you talking about the Last Samurai with the Tom Cruise?
Don't get me started on that film. And so literally, they watched Glory and went, I wonder what happens if we span the globe and stopped here.
I didn't, dude. I almost extracted that like from the moment that I saw the trailer. I maybe because
My
of trauma, I just extracted it from my memory. I just
I was so offended. I didn't realize I could be that offended at like 16 years old, but I was so offended. I was like, thank you. Cheers.
yeah, so bad. Oh,
Kampai.
can pie. Ooh. Um, one thing, right? Before we go, your
Yes.
favorite attire worn by Lori Petty?
Ooh, oh, it has to be the missile bra. I have tried to look for that bra from the existence, and one day there will be a BigFemvader Amazon Ayesha Raymond photo show in those missile bra. I will do it.
That's a good
I
move.
just don't know where it is.
It's a good move. And
If
I
anyone wants
love
to donate it,
there
find
you
it.
go. You you guys, I'm just saying. No, and it was funny that scene, right? Because it was very subtle, and you're like, and then they kind of nudge it, and like, oh, whoa, there's missiles in bed. Oh wait, it's her bra. It was very kind of like cheeky, subtly where they broach the subject. I thought it was cool, kind of fun cinematography because you don't see it in the shot, and as big as they are, like for it to appear as they were, I think it was fun. No, like not sexual, like whatever, but it was just fun, right? Because again, this a lot of things to get that shot to work. A lot of things had to work
And
and they
also a
worked.
lot of things had to go wrong. Like it's weird. Like that's one of the scenes that wouldn't have happened if they quote unquote had enough money. One of the reasons why they did use a lot of the the comic book scenes and sketches and the cinematic scenes from the comic books is because the budget couldn't allow them to do the scenography that they wanted to do. So they used the comic book because they thought it was cheaper. But realistically it added towards the film, and I couldn't have seen it in any other way than being comic book shot and then pan to her. That's how you would do it in my head.
Yeah. No, and I I don't know why it's not giving it to me, but they adjusted for inflation $25 million, which is 44.15.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's a
oh,
and to only get like 6 million in return, you know, like how over budget was this fucking thing? Like how like they thought they were gonna do gangbusters, right? And even
or
still,
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. They might have like Tangrel is gonna be the new Ghostbusters. We can have three of these motherfuckers if we play it right. But it's just too quirky, too nichey, I think, to kind of reach the masses.
No, but it's weird because it's I always thought and personally it was an awesome film. I don't know, it's because I appreciate the comics, but because of the humor, you couldn't do it today. But it would have so got over in the like scary movie, American Pie, that another teen movie era, where those movies were so ridiculous. Flipping ridiculous six. I still haven't watched that film because I can't comprehend how like just like, but I'm like, if you brought it out during that era, it would have been believable as being unbelievable. But I think it was people wanted it to be more believable, which is what's never going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. So, are you pro or con remaking this thing?
I'm pro- I'm pro Tank Girl, con remaking it because Tank Girl is Laurie Petty. I'm sorry. No disrespect to anybody who wants to embody the character or does it any well. I loved Margot in Wolf of Wall Street and every incarnation of what she was for Harlequin. Like I love the movies, I really did, but I'm just no. All the no's.
Yeah,
Unless
yeah.
it's me, and then I'll completely take away all my bias, accept your check, and be completely happy with it.
Yeah, but if they are gonna make it, I would love, especially so much affinity you have towards the art. Why not make it a little bit darker? Why not have you?
You did it with
Just saying.
Ariel.
You kind of
Mm.
have the hair down.
I really do. Like all we have to do is shave that side, and I've been thinking of doing it for like months now. I'm just terrified.
Yeah. So Aisha for Tangirl, like we need to get this Twitter something or what have you. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. But
Imagine that picture. Everybody knows that picture of her on the tank on the end of the big barrel. Imagine me on the end of that big barrel. I'm just gonna leave it there.
just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, don't go imagining me Gal Gadot because we fell down
Let's just
that
leave him out of
wormhole.
this. Just me.
Yes, we fell down that wormhole already during the pandemic. So let's not do that again. Um, and then obviously you mentioned the Rotten Tomato score, right? So if you're basically looking at this, what would be your Rotten Tomatoes 5 star whatever? What is your assessment?
For me, it's a 4, but it will be a 5 out of 5. The only thing I didn't like was they didn't include enough of the backstory. They didn't include enough of
Hmm.
what was true to the comic book. There was aspects of it, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't enough. It would have been a complete 5 if they had basically done what was something that was actually good to the backstory of anything. Nothing. Um, the first, no, I was gonna go the first X-Men, but everyone crucified me for that. Um, anything that you can remember that was true to the original backstory. There you go.
Yeah, I don't have context because I was, in terms of like my, like there was a point where I read comics. I had like the Dick Tracy, Rocketeer. I wasn't like a heavy like comic person, but I did watch it, and I think at this juncture we had moved around so much that I didn't have my home comic book shop, and then also we had like the death of Superman. Doomsday killed Superman, and I remember like my comic book shop in San Rafael, California, Northern California. There was actually a white casket with the Superman logo.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
sad.
yeah. So I was kind of fully out of my comics. Like we had lost a lot of them, and I mean, pretty much my entire comic book, baseball, basketball card collection went away and what have you. So and didn't really have the money to replace any of it. So I had fallen off at this particular time. So like I knew nothing of like Titan Girl before Lori Petty from the fucking in the army now was a part of it, and I loved her in the army now. She was just such a badass, and I just think again, tanks, water purification, and just badassery for a female. Again, consecutively, she did in the army now, and then Tank Girl. All right,
Mhm.
so it fits.
Well, it does. I was pleased. I don't care what anyone says. It's one of my favorite films. Screw
No,
you guys.
yeah, screw you. But instead of screwing, right? We talk about fitting in, right? But you don't have to fit in to be a part of the community that is Fierce Females, led by BigFemvader Ayesha Raymond. Now, for those who want to get indoctrinated to such things, where can they do that?
He is so right. You don't have to fit in. I have a T-shirt that is named "Screw Your Club." I don't fit in any club, and if you want to get in and join in with Fierce Females Glasgow, Fierce Females Wrestling, and literally just Fierce Females on any social media site. Not only that, but you can search Big Fem Vader and you'll get this wonderful face. And I am also featured on That Efkin Show, playing the most amazing game in the world, Are You a Dead?
I see you doing that. I see you doing
That's it.
that. And for those links, I might have put them right here in the description, so made it a little bit easier for you. But and I'm According to Woods, where I do stuff like this and talk to friends, and I hope you guys are friends. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I jumbled my words. But if you don't believe me, and Aisha is definitely subscribed because she's on the damn show, right? So that's it, as I am subscribed to her. But if you're not subscribed to us, don't take our word for it. Here's Zeta Zhang to help convince.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you subscribe to